because we normally buy our food online because we can get what we want and we haven't got to interact with where we live because it's not particularly pleasant. But we've been forced to go out and do our shopping because we couldn't get online deliveries. So it's made us go out and actually observe what's going on out there. Okay. And obviously we walk our dog. So, you know, as well as just going out, you know, for a walk. So okay, so when this all first started, I did actually post a video when we were in lockdown. You know, lockdown. Okay. That very morning, what did I see outside? Local council grass cutters. And in fact, they've been carrying on with the grass cutting ever since. Yeah. Now, whether you're buying into, you know, what they're saying it is, or whether you are not buying into what they're saying this is, doesn't matter. We're supposed to be in a lockdown, yeah? So why is grass cutting an essential service? Why is litter picking an essential service? And do you know something? There was a mattress over on our green for months and months, yeah? Grass cutters who come round and cut the grass on the green didn't ring the council to get it come and taken away, yeah? And it was there for a very, very long time. In fact, someone had even thrown some bedding on the top of it just for good measure. So we're out and we see these litter pickers with the big van, and Ian said to them, he said, I don't know if you can do anything about it, he said, but there's been a mattress on the green for months and months and months and months. You know, is there any way you can contact the council to get someone to come and get it? Oh yeah, no problem. Okay. And literally the next day it was gone. But for months and months and months and months and months, the grass cutters have been coming round, cutting the grass, and cut round the mattress that was on the green. Anyway, that's beside the point. Job's worth. So, yeah, grass cutting is obviously a essential service. So that's, you know, that's... Whoa, are we in lockdown? Maybe we're not. Litter picking. It's obviously an essential service. You never see litter pickers any other time, except when we're in lockdown. Seriously. Are we in lockdown? Clearly not. What else have we observed? Building work. Building work is still going on, and in some places it was going on the whole time. Are we in lockdown? Clearly not. What else have we seen? There was another thing. Oh, yes. Now, for those of you who are, I mean, the whole 5G thing is a, you know, big can of worms. You can open it if you want. But again, what's really interesting, yeah, that people have been saying, because we follow everything, yeah, and we sift it, and if there's anything of any use, we'll use it. Or we'll kind of talk about it, because that's what we do. That's what we teach, yeah? So, we're in lockdown, aren't we? Lockdown! Yeah? We're in lockdown. So why have we got a new 5G mast at the top of Temple Hill now? Why? Why is that an essential service if we are in lockdown? It's a question. Is it not a question that deserves some kind of an answer? Because I don't know why 5G is Why a 5G mast is an essential thing to be going up when everyone's in lockdown? Why? I don't know. You won't get a straight answer from any politicians. So, no, why? Why is putting up a 5G mast essential services during lockdown? And obviously buses and trains are still running. Normal service from what I can, we've been using the bus. We've looked at the train timetables. They seem to be normal. They seem to be running normal. So, I don't know. Again, it's a question. Is it not? I'm looking out there because I'm looking outside. What else have we observed? The strange thing around and it's really interesting but sad at the same time, is when we're out and about, and it's a good thing because whenever we were out and about before in Dartford or London or wherever, we'd always get people bumping into us because they'd be like this on their phones, or they just wouldn't see us, which is an interesting concept. People see us now and they're giving us a wide berth. That is actually really nice, that we don't get people bumping into us all the time and they're moaning at you because you bumped into them. It's like, well, actually, I'm looking where I'm going, you're not. What? So that's a very interesting change. But what I find really, and we've seen it around here, we've seen disturbing behaviour from people. And we have been verbally attacked by people for, I don't know what reason, because they feel like they can, because they feel like they want to, because they're feeling scared and frustrated and they think that they can take it out on people. Well, that's all well and good, but as I always say, don't throw your shit at me. If you're going, if you are feeling those things, then that's, work on it. Don't start throwing your shit at other people just because you are feeling a certain way. And what I'm seeing as well is, through this social distancing, I don't know, it's like there's a closing down. That's what I'm seeing out there. As people give, not everybody, there have been some very, and do you know what? It's normally people with dogs. People with dogs are more smiley. It's interesting, isn't it? But I don't know, generally speaking, people are they're like watchful, suspicious. And I don't know, I think that is really sad that people are closing down. And that's your heart centre. So they're shutting down, they're looking, the amount of times we've been out and it's just like, obviously the doors are shut, but it's like windows are closed, curtains are closed, and we're seeing that all around. It's like people have completely shut down, like in their actual homes, but through doing that they're closing down through their heart centre as well. And having spent, I suppose, the first 30 years of my life in that space, it's not a good space to be in. It really is not. So we're observing quite a few oddities, anomalies. When we go shopping, there's actually, I think the only thing that is still a little bit thin on the ground, well, flour. All of a sudden, everyone in Dartford has become a baker. Okay, so I don't understand that. It's like there was always flour, crazy amounts of flour on the shelves. It's like no one ever did any baking. But now everyone's a baker. It's like everyone is now a cook. It's like, it does make me laugh. Although you can still get, I mean, things like pasta are still, they're still coming in dribs and drabs. And what about the fruit and vegetables? Oh, that's the other thing we've kind of noticed as well through the media. So I don't know how many of you out there watch mainstream news. I'd switch that off right now. The likes of the BBC, etc. Nah, don't touch them. Don't touch them with a barge pole. Because if you can't filter it or get a perspective on what they're saying, it's gonna mess with your head, because that's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they're there for. What's that film? Citizen Kane. Yeah? Citizen Kane. Go and watch it. That says it all in there. Orson Welles. So yeah, when it comes to the supermarkets, it's kind of, we keep saying, yeah, but if it wasn't for, the queuing outside the supermarket, and the fact we can't go in our, favourite coffee shop I really hope he doesn't suffer too much, because it'd be a shame if the likes of Esquires in Dartford fall foul of this, and Costa just fucking open back up again, because you got to support your local independent businesses. Yeah, you got it. Anyway, yeah, so we were saying, if it wasn't for, like those couple of little bits, like having to queue outside of Sainsbury's. And yes, we do go in together. That's what we do. Because that's not a law. There's no law. There is a bill, which is not law, and I'll get into that. It's an act, which is not law. Yeah? But like I say, I'll get into that in a minute. And there is guidelines from government. No laws. There's no law that says you have to do any of what they're telling you, to be quite frank. It's not law, okay? And we've been going, when we've been doing our shopping, because there is a very distinct energy around that whole thing around going into the supermarkets at the moment. I don't know if any of you are kind of getting that, and it's a very heavy energy, and what I'm finding, it's pulling on my lower spine, and it gets very painful. And so once we've gone and done our shopping, we go and sit in the park just so I can stretch my back and have a drink, because it's dehydrating as well. That's the other thing. I don't know if you're finding that as well. And we drink green tea, I drink copious amounts of water, and I'm still feeling dehydrated. So that's an energy thing, yeah, because everything is energy, don't forget that. So we go and sit in the park once we've done the shopping, because we usually we do a shop for 10 days, because the least amount of time I can spend down there right now, the better. Like I said, we don't normally go into town, Only if, we might go out and say, we might say, oh, just go down the local Esquires for, and we'll make a thing of it, and we might do some charity shops at the same time. But we try and keep away from Sainsbury's supermarket as much as possible, because it's just not. And there are some very rude staff in there as well, to be quite frank. Very rude. And now they've got this bit of power. Oh my God, they're going bonkers with it. But anyway, that's another story. And when you throw logic back at them, they don't like it. They don't like it. Okay, so so I'm asking this woman for help, yeah. And because Ian's with me and he's lifting the baskets are really heavy because there's no fucking trolleys. Everyone's got the trolleys. So he's lifting the baskets for me because they're very heavy. And she's getting all stroppy. And he said no. And I said to her, look, I need him to lift the baskets up. They're heavy. I didn't see her fucking lifting them. Because they won't get near you, will they? Oh my fucking God. Oh, and that's nothing compared to how they're treating disabled people as well. That's another story. So, because we weren't playing her little power game, she wouldn't help when the till went all weird on me, yeah? And I said, thanks for your help. And she went, oh, thank you for your help. I said, well, that's all right, because they're trying to get people in and out as fast as possible, yeah? I said, well, that's okay. It just take me longer to do my shopping because I'd have to try and scan it about 4 or 5 times before it would actually go through. So they want people in and out as fast as possible, but when it comes to actually helping you, if you've rocked their boat a little bit, no. Very, very rude and aggressive, actually. She was rude and aggressive. And it's like, no. So, yeah. Might be, so we steer clear of there as much as possible. So we do like a 10-day shop. Yeah. But apart from that, it's normal. Even the other day, we went down to get a few bits from Holland & Barrett, Food for Living, and somewhere else I went. I can't remember where it was. We were going to go to the Co-op, and they were closed because they were restocking the shelves. Okay. Anyway. I swear, yeah, the government has given these shops guidelines, yeah, of things they must do, and they're just doing it to keep fueling this thing of people being in fear, because that's the big thing that's happening, yeah. And well, actually, I think it's breaking. I think the spell is being broken. Because what that does is it's like shops, they've obviously been told guidelines from government to cut their opening hours as well. So what does that do? It creates scarcity, it creates fear, and it keeps that momentum going, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I don't know. You tell me. So, yeah. So, we were downtown the other day getting a few bits, just kind of, that we'd run out of. And we were in Dartford, and it's like, there's a lot more people out today. Like, noticeably more people. Noticeably. And we're like, okay. And this was, so today is, what is today? Saturday. This would have been Thursday. Now, what's really interesting about that is Ian's daughter Emma, her boyfriend, is a gas engineer, and he's been working through all of this, yeah? He's still working. And he was doing like an overnight shift. So he was on his way back from London, I think, possibly, I can't remember. But he was saying there's a lot of traffic on the road, a lot of traffic. Like, traffic jam, lots of traffic. Yeah? So we kind of raised an eyebrow. It's like, okay. And then we went into Dartford and we saw lots more people out. Yeah? So we kind of, because we've been doing a lot of magic work as well around clearing the Saturn energy around constriction and fear and all that stuff, and calling in what would you call them? Well, we call them, they are the blueprinters, yeah. And we've called in various entities and things to kind of uncover, you know, what's really going on. So, you know, you can call that what you like, but clearly there is something else going on, and I'll show you why. So there are many things, yeah, and if you look at the way they are stripping our basic human rights, yeah, even down to suggesting, putting it out there, you know, a little bit of fear mongering there just to keep you in line, about, you know, mandatory vaccinations, we won't be able to go, we won't be able to do anything or turn to normal until everyone's been vaccinated. Really? Okay. So more fear, more fear, yeah? Because what keeps people, you know, in their homes on lockdown, yeah? What's interesting is there are reports from all over the place about increases in domestic violence, child abuse, people just dying in their homes, and no one knows about it, yeah? Because, well, one, people are so afraid, yeah, because the government and the media have created this fear, be under no illusion that they have created the fear around this. Whether the virus is real or not doesn't matter. The government and the media have created this massive fear pandemic. Fear is contagious. Fear and paranoia are contagious, whether the virus is real or not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about fear, yeah? Which is why what we teach is, okay, so let's have a look under that, shall we? Let's have a look under that particular stone and see what's underneath that, yeah? So, I mean, we have so much stuff, yeah? But I'm just going to show you a few bits. So there is a law firm actually who have been very active during this time to get things like disabled people's rights to, you know, especially if you are, you know, autistic or something. And I mean, Henry is experiencing really the eczema on his hands from the stress of not, you know, of not being able to go to college, of not just being able to go out for a walk, because quite often he'll just take himself out for a walk, but he is scared that if he does that, something will happen, yeah? And that's what makes me angry, because the government take no responsibility for that. But this particular law firm, Bindmans, they've actually fought for disabled people's rights to actually go out, to actually go outside, to go for a walk, and to do that as many times as they need to, right? That's a fact. Now what we've got here, new police guidance, because the police in this country, well, we've seen countless videos of police severely overreaching in their powers, yeah? Considering this isn't even a law, yeah? So now they keep rejigging it. Oh, it's like, whoa, rejig it, oh, rejig it, you know. So there's been lots of stuff around. Oh, so what is a necessary thing when you're going shopping then? Or are the police going to look in my shopping bags? Or are the police going to arrest me if I'm sitting on a park bench? You know. So if you go to bindmans.com, you could even Google this. Going out during lockdown, new police guidance. Bindmans, yeah. And you can see this for yourself, yeah. So what's really interesting is that it's, how would you police it? How would you know if someone has, I don't know, walked for half an hour and then sat down in the park to meditate for an hour and then walked for another half an hour back home? How would you know? How would you know that? Well, unless you're following, of course, but that's a different thing altogether. So how they actually police that is beyond me. The guidance confirms the list of examples, so you can look at this online, yeah, of what is and what is not reasonable. Is not exhaustive, and officers are required to use their discretion and judgment in deciding what is and what isn't reasonable in the circumstances. But what we're seeing is, you know, police being very aggressive with people. So I have to ask that question, you know, are we entering into a police state? Are we? I don't know. So there was some stuff here around, where was it? Oh, I thought it was on this page. About what is, oh, here we go. So it's very important that because there was one, I don't know if she was a politician or just someone expressing her opinion, that alcohol, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to buy alcohol at this time because it's not an essential thing. Well, if you're an alcoholic, you know. The good news for drinkers and nature lovers is that the new guidance anticipates buying alcohol will be reasonable, as long as it is purchased alongside other, even more essential items. Okay. Oh, and you're also now allowed to drive to the countryside for a long walk, even though they were stopping people, and I think it was Derbyshire, they're actually putting up roadblocks to stop people driving out to the countryside. And it was even common practice there's a blue lagoon in that particular area which they put black dye into to stop people going there. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with these people? So yeah, read that, because that is very important. Yeah, know your rights. And I'll tell you something, through years of going on protests, we got very, I'm not saying, you know, we know everything about your rights, but we have a very good understanding of what your rights are. Yeah? So the police cannot put you in their car or van or arrest you without an actual reason. They cannot get your details, like your name, address, date of birth, unless you are under arrest for a crime. A crime. And don't forget, the police uphold common law. Yeah, go and look it up if you don't know what that is. So that's a very important thing there. So that's Bindman's. Going out during lockdown, new police guidance. All right, go and look at it. Very important. So that's a thing. Oh, that's an interesting thing. What's this one? Oh, that's another interesting thing there. Now, what I was talking about the backpedaling, yeah, very interesting. Right, when Boris first came on to address the nation, I think he gave us all 5 minutes, didn't he? Great. Bless him. He was very specific, yeah, in saying about businesses closed, unless it was essential services like food, yeah, or grass cutting, or 5G mask going up, litter picking, or even the whole thing where you pay your local council to come out, and you pay them by for a time, yeah, so 15 minutes or whatever it is, and you have to list all the items that you want them to come and collect. So this is big rubbish, I forget what they call that, but you know, if you've got big items that need to go off to landfill, you have to pay them to come and collect that. Do you know our local council is still doing that? Is that an essential service? Well, I'm guessing because people pay for it. It is. Come on, people. That's fucking bonkers, isn't it? Are we in lockdown? Clearly we're not. So, anyway. What's also interesting is when you see through these videos that are coming through of police being very well, they're actually calling it something on London. In London housing estates, they're calling it the hammer. They are calling it the hammer. Go and Google it. This is what they're doing, yeah? They're not wearing masks. They're not social distancing. They're not wearing gloves. Now and again, you'll see... Well, we haven't seen them around here. I've hardly seen any police around here, to be quite frank. It's like now and again, you'll see a couple wearing gloves. Like in some of these videos. But generally, they're not doing that. Okay. So yeah, did or did not Boris say about businesses closing? Did he say that or did he not? Well, he did actually. And what they also said is that businesses would be fined if they didn't follow the guidance. Guidance, yeah? So, yeah, you know, there are some businesses, you know, big designer outlets, you know, so what? But the small businesses, they're the ones that are actually going to suffer, yeah? Like our little, like our little coffee shop in the town. Which is a welcome relief to Costa, to be quite frank. So, let me just... Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I think it's that one. Yes, it's that one. So, and this was hidden at the bottom of this. Bloody ads, honestly. Oh, you have to pardon my internet connection. It's supposed to be super fast broadband. Yeah, right. So just bear with me a minute. Just while I'm doing this, does anyone else feel a little God, what is going on here? Does anyone else feel slightly grubby over this whole dancing, TikTok dances in NHS hospitals? Does anyone else feel a bit about that? It's a question. If you don't know what I'm talking about, type it into Google. Because it's it seems like every nurse in the NHS is doing TikTok dance routines. And I mean dance routines. Now, I don't know about you. I mean, I studied AS dance at Chester College for about 6 months. Dance routines are actually really hard to learn unless you are a trained dancer. Takes a certain particular mindset to do it, yeah? I can do it. So this is an article here. And the other thing, that they're usually wearing PPE as well when they're doing these dances. So isn't that a waste of resources when they haven't got any PPE? Just a question. Question everything. And there was the big concert outside Dudley Hospital as well, where there was no social distancing. In fact, people were hugging each other, and they were having a really good time when we are in lockdown. Oh, and it was a mass gathering as well, definitely more than 2 people, and the police were there as well, enjoying themselves. So, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on? So you've got all this stuff here. Now, what's interesting here? So transport. This goes back to the traffic from last Thursday. There's an increase in traffic, increase in people about as well. Yeah. So it's going back up. This is going back up. This is congestion level in London. It's going up. Traffic is up. People are going out. Because do you know what? If you run a business and it's either, okay, so I'm going to go back to work because if I don't, I cannot feed my family. Because you know what's really interesting? The government is saying, oh yeah, we've got lots of money for furlough people. Well, that actually ends in June anyway. So what happens after that? They haven't been talking about that, have they? Not that I've seen. But a lot of people fall through the net. Self-employed people are falling through the net with that, because you have to be self-employed for at least a year to be able to get any help. So there's an awful lot of people falling through the net there. Yeah. And well, you can't actually get the money from the government now. So you have to wait for them to give it to you however many months down the road. Okay, so what do you do in the meantime? What do you do in the meantime? Because supermarkets aren't giving away food for free. At one point they'd closed the food banks. I think they're back open now, because what they realise is actually that's a bit stupid, closing the food banks. Come on. People rely on those. People who work rely on those, which is bonkers in the first place. But, it's like, because we couldn't believe that when they were like, oh, we're closing the food banks. Yeah, but people rely on those. So what are those people going to be doing when they can't even work anymore? So they've got even less money, so they're going to need a food bank. Okay. Congestion level. So traffic is up. Now what's really interesting down here, because there's another thing around here as well. They're relaxing the stay-at-home rules. Yeah. This is after they've given us the traffic lights yeah, saying hairdressers can open. And other things as well. But hairdressers are very important. I'm sorry, but that's why I have to call this Carry On Pandemic, because number one, they can't keep their story straight. And I've got a really cool little thing to show you on that as well. It's like they can't get the story straight. They were deliberately vague during that whole start. Yeah. Which is why we've had the police go like that with people, because they didn't know what they were doing, because the government were deliberately vague. Yeah. So, are we allowed to go out? Oh, we're not allowed to go out. What's exercise? What's not exercise? What's a necessary thing that you have to buy in your shopping? Or I don't know. So check this out. Matt Hancock today said he was comfortable with firms reopening and Britain's getting back to work, as figures showed traffic on UK roads is on the rise for the first time since lockdown began. First bit. The Health Secretary welcomed the decision by construction companies. Now, we've been seeing construction carrying on around here, I don't know about you. Shops and factories to restart their businesses. Now this is the hammer, yeah? But insisted those that have opened their doors again never needed to close. What? But Boris said businesses are closing. Restaurants, cafes, bars, pubs, theatres, everything must close. Everything is closed except anywhere that sells food. Yeah. Anywhere that, our local B&Q's been open. As far as I know, it's still been open. There have been certain shops that are still open. And in America, what I find really annoying is that you've got the big conglomerate Walmart still open. They don't need to be open. Haven't they made enough money? Anyway, I'm going to read that again. He insisted those that have opened their doors again never needed to close. That's not what we were told. And in fact, they threatened to fine, I think it was about £1,000 fine, if you opened your business, your shop, when they had told you to close. Lie. That is a blatant lie, yeah? And maybe they think people are going to forget what they were told in the beginning. Come on. It's only been a couple of 3 weeks. I'll tell you something else as well. When we were watching UK Column yesterday. I think it was UK Column. And because they give the stats, of cases versus people that have died. And I just did a quick calculation, percentage of, the population of Britain, which I think is about 71 million or something. No, not 71 million. Ugh. Whatever it is, anyway. And it came out, the percentage of people that have died from this, whatever it is, was 0.0, round it up to 3%. 0.03%. Wow. So anyway, this is funny. This guy, Hancock, he's not funny at all. Social distancing, we need to enforce on building sites. Well, we've got a building site just down the road and we walk past it quite a lot and they're not practicing social distancing. So, whatever. Yeah, the hanger lane gyratory system, if it's still called that. It used to be called that in the 70s. I don't know if it still is. So yeah, basically there's people are going out. Yeah, people are going out because they either need to, because they need to go to work to earn the money to feed their families, to keep a fucking roof over their head, because the government are not actually helping. They're bailing out banks and they're funding. Now this'll get you. Yeah. They're funding the NHS when it comes to block booking resources in private hospitals. Yeah. Because I asked, we were talking last night, me and Ian, and I said, what's really interesting is you haven't heard anything about private hospitals. What are they doing? There we go. And it took about 5 minutes for him to find this. So this is not hidden. You do not have to dig very much to find the information. NHS block books almost all private hospital sector capacity to fight COVID-19. What's really interesting about this, yeah? They're not doing it for free. They're not doing it for free. Private sector said it was providing facilities and staff at cost price. So, okay, so the NHS is paying cost price, whatever that is. We all know how expensive private hospitals are. Yeah? So the NHS are paying for it. So the NHS are funded by government. So the government is funded by taxes. Okay, so if there are a massive amount of people now out of work, yeah, because of the lockdown, when actually, oh no, those businesses didn't actually need to close. Wow. Okay. So there's going to be less taxes being paid. So how much are taxes going to go up? So VAT, income tax, national insurance. How much are those things going to go up to cover this massive government spending? It's not just that. They're fucking chucking money out left, right and centre. They're funding this and they're funding that. And they're funding everything. It's like, well, hang on, how? I thought we were still in austerity. Oh, no, apparently we're not in that anymore. Okay. All right then. But where all of a sudden has that money come from? Now, I'd like to know the answer to that, actually. So, yeah, go and check this out. hsj.co.uk, policy and regulations. Well, you can Google it. If you just Google NHS block books almost all private hospital sector capacity. Yeah? You can read it. You can fucking read it. It's there. Yeah? It's there. The other one. What was the other one? Now. Okay. So. Boris said, did he not, when he gave us those very important 5 minutes, did he or did he not say, well, for a start, there's big fear around this, about the virus. So you don't go to your hospital, don't go to the GP, don't go to your pharmacist. Okay. And there are plenty of videos out there, not just in the UK, but around the globe, of A&Es, like, just, when you go into a hospital, they're deserted. They are empty. Yeah? So, just take off your instant knee-jerk reaction. Oh my God, what's she talking about? Yeah, take that hat off right now. Yeah. So why would they be empty? Why would A&Es be empty? Yeah. Okay, well, people are fucking petrified, yeah? Government created fear, yeah? Mass media created fear-mongering, yeah? Around this virus, yeah? So, if someone isn't feeling well, no, they're not going to go to the fucking hospital, are they? They're not, because they are petrified, yeah? Of, number one, catching it. Number two, if you get tested, yeah? Well, anything could happen to you, because the way they're actually working this is that if you're tested, then you could end up on a ventilator. 50% chance of actually coming through at the other end, because ventilators aren't actually, it's extremely invasive. When they put you on a ventilator, you could die. You've got a 50% chance of dying from being on a ventilator. Yeah? And, you know, you could go in with a broken arm. They could test you, because that's apparently, allegedly what they're doing. They're testing people. Well, I'm actually hearing a completely different thing about that. So, who knows what the truth is there? Are they testing people, or are they not testing people? Well, actually, we don't know. Okay. But, you know, you go be tested and positive, and all of a sudden, you know, you're stuck. You're isolated. You're stuck in a hospital. No one can come and get you. You can't have any visitors, because that's what they're saying. You know, once you're in there, you know, no visitors. No one's allowed to see you. And if you're elderly, fucking heaven help you, because they get you to sign a DNR, yeah, and basically leave you to die. That is a thing. Look it up. Do the research, yeah. So anyway, yeah, bearing this in mind, yeah, that A&Es across the fucking globe are empty because people are scared. They're not going to do it, are they? How many people who have had heart attacks or anxiety, yeah, panic attacks? Because a panic attack, if it's a really bad one, can feel like a heart attack. I know, I've had it, yeah. I know what that feels like. It feels like a heart attack. It really does. They're not going to ring up. They're not going to go to the local hospital, because they are more petrified of this fucking whatever it is, yeah? The fear. It's the fear around it. The fear, yeah? and the mass media and the government take no fucking responsibility for that whatsoever. And that makes me mad, yeah? They do not take responsibility. They just wash their hands of the whole thing. Pardon the pun. Yeah. So, of course you're not going to get people going to the fucking hospital. So how many people are, you know, not going when they have a serious whatever? Be it a broken bone, be it, I don't know, it could be anything. So, the NHS, what did the NHS do? Well, this is 5 hours ago as well. NHS urges public to seek urgent care if needed, as A&E visits fall by 50%. Oh, what a fucking surprise. When very clearly, Boris said, don't go to your hospitals, don't go to your doctors. And in fact, doctors, they were shut. They were doing consultations over the phone. The NHS is launching a campaign. Who's going to trust the NHS after this? Really? It's launching a campaign to make sure people seek urgent care during medical emergencies after visits to A&E fell by nearly 50% this month. Well, I wonder why. It's fucking hell, honestly. Who's created the fear around this? Government. And the NHS, actually. They're in there as well. They're perpetuating the fear. Don't be under any illusion about that. And mass media. And now they're saying, oh, don't be scared. Come in. Okay. Okay. Recent research found 4 in 10 people are too worried about being a burden. Well, actually, no. I'd say they're more scared of catching something that they think will kill them. So again, you can read this. This is, well, just Google it. NHS. Yeah, Google that. Google that title there, yeah? A little something else here. Now, where is it? It's here somewhere. Where is it? Here we go. Now, will you be seeing this? Well, this is in the Standard, actually, so I'll be very surprised if this doesn't hit mainstream media. Are you ready for this? London's hospitals discharged thousands of virus patients 16 hours ago. Okay. So it doesn't kill as many people as they said it would. Because don't forget, Imperial College, when they first put their figures out, they were putting out figures of 500,000 people were going to die without question, which is what forced the lockdown, because Boris originally did not want to do lockdown. Yeah, his thing was, well, this is common sense. Yeah, you know, if you're ill, obviously, and fucking hell, right? Has anyone out there ever had a really nasty, fucking horrible flu? I have, and I could barely get out of my bed for 5 days. In fact, at the time, I was house sharing, and my housemates thought I'd gone away because it was around Christmas. They thought I'd gone away because they didn't see me because I was in my bed. I could not get out of my bed. So if you're that ill, you wouldn't be out there wandering about going to work, would you? Come on. Fuck's sake. Common sense, yeah? Where has common sense gone? Well, it's gone the way of the fairies, quite obviously. So, common sense, yeah? Which there are about 5 or 7 countries who did not do lockdown, and actually their death rate is fucking tiny. Yeah? Anyway, that's another thing. So so don't forget as well, you know, that the narrative has been, this is extremely contagious, it will kill you. That's what they've been saying, yeah? I'm just repeating the narrative. And nobody is safe and you could be carrying it and not know it. Well, do you know what? What's really interesting about that is there's a lot of people that, you know, before Christmas, about the beginning of December, actually had a really horrible fucking nasty flu. And what's interesting is that the symptoms of it were the same as what this is. Yeah, it took me 3 weeks to shift it, and I think I was okay for about a week and a half, and then it came back very slightly, but within a couple of days it had gone. It was like I hadn't quite gotten rid of it. So because I relaxed what I was doing, it hadn't gone, basically. And a lot of people had this just, you know, in the beginning of December. So that's an oddity as well, isn't it? Because apparently this didn't arrive on our doorstep till February. Well, actually, no, I think it was here well before that. So, yeah, ask yourself that question. Pardon me. So, that's a very small amount of people, isn't it, who are ill, yeah? And where is the thing? So again, you can look this up. Look it up online. And apparently we're on a plateau now. Apparently, according to the experts. Oh dear. Yeah, it was the experts that got us into lockdown. Yeah, okay. So it says here, at least. So it's probably more. So will you be seeing that in mainstream media? Just, oh look, here we go. 8,000 who, well, they're okay. They're okay. They're not dead. They're okay. That's quite a lot, isn't it? I don't know. Go and do the research. Go and do the research. If you want a clear picture of actual deaths, go to Euromomo, yeah? And what's interesting on there is it breaks it all down for you, yeah? So you can really look at the figures. And this is absolute numbers. This isn't, oh, a bit, are they dead or are they not? Oh, I don't know. Because you're either dead or you're not, yeah? So it's absolute numbers on deaths in Europe, I think in America as well. So go and check it out. Euromomo. Go and check it out, yeah? Because that will give you a clear picture. And what's really interesting, and this is all deaths, so what you'll get a picture of is, and you can go back through dates as well, so you can compare it to previous years. What is really interesting is that most, there is a slight, if I remember rightly, there is a slight spike. I think this is in the UK. But there are questions being asked because obviously there are things going on behind locked doors in people's homes that are, yeah, right, okay, so what the government have been saying is stay at home, yeah? I can't remember the whole slogan. It's not going in my head, thankfully. But if we lock down, then the virus will go away, yeah? Okay, so if we're in lockdown and the deaths are going up, doesn't that suggest that the deaths are going up because of the lockdown, because people are suffering from domestic violence, there's child abuse, there's people who are not going to hospitals because clearly they are so fucking scared of catching this virus, yeah, that they're not going to the hospital, so they're dying in their home. People are dying of maybe heart attacks. You can die of a panic attack if you don't know how to sort it out. That is, yeah, because it feels like a heart attack. Yeah. Yeah, there are so many dot connections here, yeah, and you don't have to dig too far to get to those things, yeah. So there you go. So there's that anyway. So yeah, you know. Okay, so where is that? Because this is very interesting. Now, what is also interesting, what's kind of over the top of, what is kind of blanketing this whole thing, is removing, or the removal of, or the perception of the removal of our rights, our basic human rights. Okay. And also, well, in that is the whole thing around censorship. Now, I've seen it myself. I've experienced it, where I'll post something that shakes the narrative a bit. Shut down. Removed. Yeah. I've just gone to find a couple of videos which had some, very highly educated people, doctors, immunologists, talking, about, an alternative. Yeah? An alternative viewpoint. Now, when did it become mandatory to all have to believe the same thing? That's called a fascist state, is it not? Come on. It's called freedom of speech. And that is slowly appears to be being eroded. Yeah. So I was out. I went to find these couple of videos. They've been removed. Google owns YouTube. Obviously Facebook linked in there as well. Okay, so I'm going to say to you, go Google Event 201. Now, go and have a look around that website, and you will see this was a like a war game that they did back in October last year, around this very thing. They did a war game around a pandemic coronavirus. Now in there it talks about how they manage it, and one of the things they talk about is using social media to censor people, using all these channels that people have available for their freedom of speech, shutting them down, shutting down disinformation. Well, actually mass media creates more disinformation than anything else. And they talk, they in that particular event 201, they talk about shutting down people's right to have a different fucking point of view. Go and look it up for yourself. All right. So, what was I going to... Oh, yes, now. So, one of the videos... So, this guy's really good. Go and check him out on YouTube. VernonColeman.com. Very logical guy. I think he was a doctor. Was he a doctor? Yes, he was a doctor. I don't know if he still is. But go and check him out on YouTube. Vernon Coleman on YouTube. Talks a lot of sense. Very logical. Okay. Now this. Now there was a longer video of this. It's been removed off of YouTube. Oh, I wonder why. Because it incensed people. Because we have been told we are in lockdown. We are in lockdown. So we're not allowed to gather in large groups. No groups of more than 2 people, unless it's your own family. We must stay 6 foot away from anyone who is, who is not in our family, who doesn't live in our own home. Anything that is fun, concerts, theatres, I don't know, any kind of gatherings, have been cancelled. Completely, across the board. So anything that's fun has been cancelled. Well, actually it hasn't. That's just your perception, Fun has not been cancelled at all. No. Nor has, love. Love has not been... Love is not on lockdown, You do not need to close yourself down during lockdown, okay? But I'm going to play you this video because this tells you what's really going on, And it's a very, very short clip. There was a longer clip online and it was actually it was bigger as well. But that's been taken down off YouTube. This is the only version I could find on YouTube. So this is outside Dudley, in Dudley, at Russell Hall Hospital. Yeah. So basically, they've got a singer in. Yeah, sounds a bit like a karaoke singer actually, but you know, never mind. Police are there, you know, all having a lovely time. You might, this is very grainy footage unfortunately, very large number of people gathered. Now I can't imagine for 1 second that all those live in the same house. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So there's a bit in a second where there's people, they're hugging, taking selfies. Yeah, oh, it's coming up I think somewhere around here. I remember seeing it and thinking, oh right, okay, so no social distancing for those people then. Look at the crowd. Massive crowd gathered. Yeah, massive. Police are there. There we go, look here. Oh, you missed it. Oh no, it's a shame that that original footage isn't available, because you see these people here hugging and they're like, oh yeah, taking selfies. I did also see a very odd video. There was an elderly lady in a care home who had come out the other side of this virus. Yeah. I'll just let this video play. Yes. So read that there, right there. Yeah. So, and the staff that were around her, she was sitting in a chair, the staff around her were right close in. They were all over her. They were kissing her. Yeah. It's like, okay. So, no social distancing there then. Okay. And this is a very elderly woman. And you think, okay. It doesn't add up, does it? It does not add up. And that video just says it all for me. I don't know. There's probably loads of... Go on there and look at that yourself. NHS party away at Dudley, Russell Hall Hospital while the world is on lockdown. You know, while all other events. I mean, we were supposed to be going. It was supposed to be tomorrow. Actually, we were supposed to be going to see one of my favourite bands, Fawn, and that luckily that hasn't been cancelled. It's just been postponed till next year. But you know, we can't go up to London and do the things that we normally do. Treadwell's or Atlantis Bookshop or, you know, visit a museum, whatever it is, you know. So, although, you know, like I say, where is it? Here. Massive backpedal by the government. Because don't forget, they were talking about traffic lights, and I don't even know if they'd said, oh yeah, we're in red traffic light mode. Yeah, that's not going to cause any confusion at all, is it, about traffic lights and what does a red traffic light mean stop? No, actually it means go a little bit. What about an amber traffic light? Well, that means that you can go a little bit. What does a green traffic light mean? Well, a green traffic light means that you can go a little bit, but you're still not quite going at full. Yeah, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's not going to cause any problems at all with traffic lights, is it? Okay, so for some reason, here we go. Who will be in your lockdown bubble? Government considers relaxing stay-at-home rules to let small groups meet for meals. Well, then that would indicate, wouldn't it, that restaurants are going to be opening again? Yeah, okay. I like that. We like Wagamama's. It's about the only place we like going, apart from what's the other one we like going to? Carluccio's. Very nice Italian food. So this is really interesting, because that's not what they've been saying, is it? No. That is not what they've been saying. And this is from the Daily Mail. And what's really weird is and through all of this, actually, there's been a lot of little slip-ups. A lot of, oh, they let that out and didn't mean to. Yeah, a bit like a fart. You know, oh, I let that out and didn't mean to. So through this, there's been little truth drops. Yeah. This is a big one. Because I don't watch the news. We don't watch the news. The last time we watched the news in any way was when Grenfell happened. And we sat in front of it for a whole day, and it's like, because we're not used to doing that. And we're like, no, we need to switch this off, because this is actually so, not the fire, but the whole government thing around it. Yeah, disgusting. Really, just like, there are no words for how the government handled that, and even what they did that caused the fire, you know, which caused those people to die. I'm sorry, but they are disgusting. So yeah, well, we had to turn it off, because it and I think Ian actually went on a protest actually for that. Not there were a lot of people there. Yeah, all the times we've done protests, I think once there was a huge body of people. But what's really interesting, yeah, is that the best protest we ever went on, or one of the best, it was for bedroom tax. It was around bedroom tax, and there were only, I don't know, there might have been 100, maybe 150 of us, so not a lot of people. Yeah. So we were standing outside this thing doing our protest, and then someone had the amazing idea of walking up the middle of the road, stopping the traffic. Yeah. And we did it. We stopped the fucking traffic with only a handful of people. Yeah. Do you know what was mad about that? Is that the police didn't know what to do. The few police that were there at our protest did not know what to do. They panicked. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Heaven forbid! Traffic gets stopped, you know. And what was really mad is that they very quickly brought in a mass of police vans behind us. It's like, seriously? We are like a small handful of people. Yeah, that was one of the most amazing protests we've ever done, and I think it's up on on YouTube. Google the Yogi Police. I'm pretty sure it's up there. Amazing protest. But so it doesn't take that many people to actually go boom, but you have to do it with intention and be serious about it. Yeah. So going back to what I was talking about earlier, was we've seen, you know, there's more traffic on the roads, that's for sure. And to be honest, we can still hear the M25. We've heard the M25, you know, whispering away through this whole thing. But there's more traffic on the roads. We're seeing more people out and about, yeah. So the government, they're like, oh, we can't, oh, it's all out of control now. They're not believing it anymore. They're not scared anymore. They're not scared anymore. So they're doing a massive backpedal, basically. I'm trying to get rid of this bloody advert and it's not going. That's why on our website, thewitchesbazaar.co.uk, we don't have adverts. Because, you know, we don't have any of this bloody shit where you can't scroll down the bloody page properly. So yeah, they're talking about relaxing, stay at home advice. And look, advice, not rules, not laws, advice. Yeah. So okay, so why would they be doing that then? I thought this virus was going to kill everybody, going to kill 500,000 people, according to Imperial College, their models. Yeah. Well, actually, they revised those figures quite a few times, all the way down to I think it was below 20,000 in the end. So did they get it wrong to start with? Yeah. Now I don't know much about computer modelling in this particular thing. But what I do know, because I did computer studies at school, is that if you put garbage in, you'll get garbage out. It's called GIGO. Yeah? So if you put the numbers in that you want to come out the other end, then you'll get the result you want at the other end. Yeah? So it's like... So they keep changing. Oh, it's like, it's a hot potato. Oh, it's a hot potato. Oh, it's a hot potato. You know, it's this number. Oh, no, it's that number. Oh, no, it's that number. Oh, it's that number. Okay. But it's actually 0.03%, and that's rounded up. All right? So, and I did that calculation myself. So, yes, they are... How would anyone know if it's any more than 2 households? Well, they don't, do they? They won't be able to mingle outside the cluster. You know the word that comes to my head straight away? Amazing word that I first heard in the film Burn After Reading, which is a very dark comedy written by the Coen brothers. Clusterfuck. There you go. Ministers are grappling with enforcement. Well, to be honest, they've never really had a handle on this anyway, because they keep changing their fucking minds. All over the place. Hot potato. Flip-flop. Call it what you like. Yeah? They couldn't fucking organise a piss-up in a brewery. So why would they be relaxing these rules if it was a fucking plague out there, yeah? If it was like plague, which is highly contagious, yeah? And kills you, you would see bodies lying in the street, wouldn't you? You would see people just dropping down in the street. So, I'm asking you, have you seen that? Do you actually know, actually know someone, know somebody, like your neighbour, for example, or someone in your street, or someone in your family? Does anyone actually know anyone who's got this, or had it? Apart from, the sneaking suspicion that I have that quite a lot of people had it at the beginning of December last year. So let's have a look. So, okay, yeah. So what's interesting, yeah, is I don't think this was covered in the red traffic light scenario. So I think we're going straight to green. That's why I reckon we're going straight to green. Again, there's not going to be any confusion about what traffic lights actually mean in the future. Oh dear. So yeah, again, you can go and Google this. Relaxing of basically lockdown rules, yeah, or advice. Don't forget, it's advice. It's not a rule and it's not a law. It's advice. Pardon me. So yeah, very interesting. Oh, look at this. So they're opening up green spaces, even though our local park has been open the whole time anyway. We have seen tape on some of the benches, but not all, which is weird. Okay. Ministers receive scientific advice suggesting outdoor settings are much safer than previously thought. Well, to be quite honest, we knew that at the start. You can actually go to our YouTube channel, which is bizarre, and we actually, right at the start of this, we did a video. Yeah, we did a video, and one of the things we were saying in that is get outside. Get outside, get in the sun, because flu, you don't get flu during the summer, do you? You might get allergies, you might get, a weird one-off cold, but you don't get flu in the summer because it can't survive. So there were a lot of people saying at the beginning, get outside, because fresh air will do you an amazing amount of good. You know, if you're using your body, exercise, that actually facilitates the getting rid of toxicity in the body. It's called the lymphatic system. So sitting on your asses at home is not going to do that. But look at this. I'm going to read this again. Ministers receive scientific advice suggesting outdoor settings are much safer than previously thought. Well, everyone knew that anyway. That's why we're always being told to get outside and do some exercise. For fuck's sake. Oh dear, oh dear. Da 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 da. Is there any more here? Okay. Yeah, usual fear. Fear, yeah. Fear. Oh, reviewed on the May the 7th. Well, that's not far away, is it? Oh my god. Ian Duncan Smith, seriously? We used to call him Ian Nazi Smith because of his attack on disabled people, on anyone on benefits. That bloke is a menace to society. So what he's saying about it, you know, let's just take that with a pinch of salt, shall we? Yeah. Funny how he's come out of the closet though, isn't it? Very odd. Why? The time is now. Okay. I don't know. Make of that what you will. Gloomy. Privately, ministers are gloomy about the prospect of any significant easing of the lockdown on May 7th. What does that mean? What does that mean? Have a think about that. And I can tell you now, there are plenty of people out there visiting loved ones. I'm seeing it, our downstairs neighbour. I mean, we don't have loved ones that come and visit us. We have friends that come and visit us. We don't have loved ones that come. Well, not that friends aren't loved ones, but you know, we don't have any family that come and visit us because we are the persona non gratis. So, you know, we very rarely get visits from anyone anyway, to be honest. So, you know, but what we're observing in our downstairs neighbour is, yeah, they're in and out of there like a dog's dinner. So there are plenty of people out there who are going and seeing loved ones, you know, for whatever reason. And I find that, you know, whatever. Semblance of normality. Is everything going to return to normal? I don't actually know that it will, because they've put these things in place. The coronavirus bill is active for 2 years. Go and look it up, yeah? Because in there are some quite disturbing things about how they've stripped certain rights away from people. Go and check it out. Coronavirus bill. It is. Steady yourself. You might need a little brandy before you read it. Oh, scold the rule breakers. Well, actually, didn't you say earlier that it's look, scold the rule breakers? Well, it's not a rule. It's advice. They said advice up there at the top of the page. Advice, not rules. Yeah. You know. But what's interesting is this here, yeah, la 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 la. But at the top of the page, they're saying they're going to relax the, they're going to relax it because, what's his face, was talking about, where was it? Wherever it was, Mr. Hancock saying, oh yeah, those businesses didn't need to close. Oh, it was there, wasn't it? It was the one about McDonald's. Yeah. So it's absolutely fine for those businesses to stay open because they were never required to close. Wow. So if businesses weren't actually required to close, then surely the whole social distancing thing wasn't a required thing either? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Where was I? Testing 1 2 3. I was down here somewhere, wasn't I? There we go. I don't know why people are going to shopping centres, because as far as I know they're still closed, aren't they? Pardon me. We don't like going to shopping centres anyway, to be honest. But, for the people that do, I don't know. I thought they were closed. I don't know that. I just guessed it. Increasing traffic. Because people have to go back to work, so they need to feed their families, keep a roof over their head, and pay the bills. Because you still got to pay your bills. I don't think many landlords have given people a 3-month rent waiver. I don't even know if mortgages are on hold for 3 months. What I do know is, because I've had the emails myself, if you have credit cards, then you can get a payment holiday. But you have to prove, I don't know how you would do that, you have to prove that you've been severely affected by, COVID-19. So it's not a blanket thing. I know that the, NatWest anyway, have frozen interest rates on overdrafts, and I know that because I've got one. So you're not paying as much in your fees, overdraft fees. What else do I know? The thing around benefits having a massive increase. That's happening. That has happened. So there are some very odd things going on. But people still have to pay their bills. You've still got to pay for electric, gas, water, which is a weird thing anyway, but that's beside the point. Some people still got to pay their rent, etc. And if you've got no money coming in, what are you going to do? You're going to go back to work if you can, aren't you? Because what else are you going to do? So yeah, this was at the bottom, I think. Oh, interesting. That didn't hit the mainstream media, did it? Oh, I wonder how they knew about that. Oh, maybe this was to do with Event 201, because that would have been, that when they did that wargaming in October last year, that was an organised event. So the people that were involved in it, and it was actually funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. What's really interesting about that is that organised event. So, okay, if it was an organised event, there must have been people from government there. So if they knew they were running a war game situation, a simulation, then maybe they would have known about this. Would they have known about this? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? I don't know. What do I know? I know fuck all. I'm just following the little bits of breadcrumbs here, you know? And I have to say, a lot of this, you know, I've done research, Ian's done research, Ian's continuing with the research, whereas I'm kind of more taking a bit more of a, well, we're both taking quite a light-hearted view of this now, actually, because clearly the spell is wearing off. So what's this? Is this in the UK? I don't know. It doesn't actually say, does it? Oh, but look. Whatever it is, it's going down. Up, down, it's going down. It's going down. Oh my god, look. It's going down. It's been going down for quite some time, actually. I think this is in the UK. It doesn't actually say. We do not comment on leaks. Well, we know that the government deliberately leaks stuff all the time. All the time. They have people that's what their job is. Come on. And what I find really amazing as well about this whole situation, yeah, is that people who never trust the government, who wouldn't spit on the government if they were on fire, all of a sudden trust the government. Okay. After all the protests we'd been on over the years, and you know, the whole thing around, yeah, even going back all the way back to Thatcher and what she did, yeah, and how it mobilized a whole nation of people, yeah, through the miners' strikes, through her fucking poll tax, yeah, mobilized a whole nation of people, yeah, and she went the way of dust, yeah. She had to go. Simply Red. Amazing tune. She'll have to go. And she went. Yeah. And it's kind of what's happening now. It's like people are mobilising. We're seeing it across the globe, actually. Funny enough, in America, people are saying, they're questioning things, yeah. In France, yeah, before the whole thing had broken out, there was a movement called the yellow shirt protest. I think it was yellow shirt something or other. And they were, what were they protesting? I think it was around privacy. I think you'll have to Google it because I can't remember exactly what it was about. I think it was definitely around human rights per se. But I think that there were specifics in there. But Google it and find out. None of that was ever reported on mainstream media. But it was a growing movement of people who were questioning government. Yeah? Go and look it up. I think yellow shirt something. And it was a growing movement in France, funny enough. So yeah, go and check this out. Go and check out this article. Yeah. Very interesting. And there was another one as well about how the government is following the science. Yeah, the so-called experts. Yeah, who use computer modelling for their crazy numbers to get everyone in lockdown. And I'm not even touching on the esoteric stuff, yeah? This is breadcrumbs that I'm following, yeah? So, again, you can go and look at this. This is in The Guardian. Scientists criticise UK government's following the science claim, yeah? So the government are under fire at the moment from many sides. This is funny. As a scientist, I hope I never again hear the phrase based on the best science and evidence spoken by a politician. Professor Devi Sridhar, Chair of Global Public Health at the University of Edinburgh, told The Guardian this phrase has become basically meaningless and used to explain anything and everything. Led by science on decisions ranging from banning mass gatherings to closing schools, the use of face masks, and most recently the prospects of lifting the lockdown. Oh dear. These guys is interesting. So you might have heard about who's got their finger in that particular pie. Go and Google it. Who is the World Health Organization funded by? Go and look it up. It's very interesting reading. So what they're kind of saying here. Oh, computer models. There we go. So what they're saying is that there were two ways. Only two ways that you could, do this scenario. The government appeared to be basing policy on the presumption of a binary choice between two scenarios, played out in computer models, of either eradicating the virus or it becoming an epidemic. Okay. This guy here, he's an epidemiologist. I do think scientific advice is driven far too much by epidemiology, and I'm an epidemiologist. What we are not talking about, this is important, what we are not talking about in the same formal, quantitative way are the economic costs, the social costs, the psychological costs, the social costs, of being under lockdown. Yeah? Why? And what's really interesting is that ourselves and some of the people in our group were talking about, people suffering domestic abuse are now stuck indoors with their abusers. We were talking about, is child abuse going to go up because people are frustrated and in fear and all that stuff? They're going to take it out on their kids, aren't they? What about people who, have really severe disabilities, for example, who can't get the treatment they need for those disabilities? Or what about, surgeries are cancelled, yeah? Possibly life-saving surgeries are cancelled because of this, yeah? So, are those people going to die? Nothing was being spoken about that. I mean, we kind of spoke about those things in what we do and with our students. And then all of a sudden the government starts talking about, actually it's now okay if you are in a situation where it's getting a little bit feisty at home, where you can now go to a friend's house. But doesn't that break lockdown? What are we doing? Is it that? Or is it that? You know, are we dancing nurses? Or are we really busy? Are we in lockdown? Or are we allowed to go and see, a friend? It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, honestly. Anyway. So yeah, you can go and look at this as well, if you want to. Very cool. I think that was all of the things, apart from, things are opening up again. There's a bar in Birmingham. Is that Birmingham? Cocktail bar that's opening. Yes, alcohol. Because we're a household that doesn't drink. So, alcohol is a massive problem, I think. I know it was for me. But yeah. So, finally, we're going to leave on a slightly high note, okay? So, oops. Bear with me while this decides to... Okay. So I'm just going to do this. Bear with me. Everything's on a go slow. And if you notice, your internet has slowed to a crawl. Now, I've heard people say, oh, that's because there are lots of people at home. Okay. So we haven't all of a sudden tripled our population. So the people that are not at work using the internet are now at home using the internet. It doesn't mean that there's more people on the planet using the internet. Honestly. Right. Bear with me. I'm getting there. Do 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 do. Hello, come on. Oh my goodness. Right, here we go. Is it going to do it? Oh my goodness. Come on, what are you doing? Bear with me, everybody. Right, here we go. Finally. Right. Just bear with me. So just to leave on a slightly, oh my goodness, need 2 hours. Just to, leave on a slightly more fun note, yeah. This was posted by someone the other day. Oh, it was just really, really funny. It says it all, really. Okay. So, I'm going to read this for you. These are the official coronavirus guidelines. Clear as day. Basically, you can't leave your house for any reason, but if you have to, then you can. Masks are useless, but maybe you have to wear one. It can save you. It is useless, but maybe it is mandatory as well. Stores are closed, except those that are open. You should not go to hospitals unless you have to go there. Same applies to doctors. You should only go there in case of an emergency, provided you are not too sick. This virus is deadly, but still not too scary, except that sometimes it actually leads to a global disaster. Gloves won't help, but they can still help. Everyone needs to stay home, but it is important to go out. There is no shortage of groceries in the supermarket, but there are many things missing when you go there in the evening, but not in the morning, sometimes. Yeah, we've seen that. It's really weird. The virus has no effect on children, except those that it affects. Animals are not affected, but there is still a cat that tested positive in Belgium in February when no one had been tested, plus a few tigers here and there. You will have many symptoms when you are sick, but you can also get sick without symptoms. Have symptoms without being sick, or be contagious without having symptoms. Oh my. In order not to get sick, you have to eat well and exercise, but eat whatever you have on hand, and it's better to not go out. Well, but no. It's better to get some fresh air, but you get looked at very wrong when you get some fresh air, and most importantly, you don't go to parks or walk, but don't sit down, except that you can do that now if you are old, or you're eating lunch, or if you're disabled, but, oh, where's it gone? Ooh, lost it, bear with me. Ooh. But not too long, or if you are pregnant but not too old. Okay. You can't go to retirement homes, but you have to take care of the elderly and bring food and medication. If you are sick and you can't go out, if you are sick you can't go out, but you can go to the pharmacy, or not, because we were told not to. You can get restaurant food delivered to the house, which may have been prepared by people who didn't wear masks or gloves, but you have to have your groceries decontaminated outside for 3 hours. Pizza too? Every disturbing article or disturbing interview starts with, "I don't want to trigger panic, but..." Big signal. You can't see your older mother or grandmother, but you can take a taxi and meet an older taxi driver. Yeah, because taxis are still running. Did you know that? You can walk around with a friend, but not with your family if they don't live under the same roof. You are safe if you maintain the appropriate social distance, but you can't go out with friends or strangers at the safe social distance. The virus remains active on different surfaces for 2 hours. No, 4. No, 6. No, we didn't say hours, maybe days. But it takes a damp environment. Oh no, not necessarily. The virus stays in the air. Well, no. Or maybe yes, maybe. Especially in a closed room, in 1 hour, a sick person can infect 10. So if it falls, all of our children will already be infected at school before it's closed. But remember, if you stay at the recommended social distance, however, in certain circumstances you should maintain a greater distance, which studies show the virus can travel further, maybe. We count the number of deaths, but we don't know how many people are infected, as we only tested so far those who were almost dead, to find out if that's what they will die of. We have no treatment, except that there may be one that is apparently not dangerous unless you take too much, which is the case with all medication. We should stay locked up until the virus disappears, but it will only disappear if we achieve collective immunity, so when it circulates, we must no longer be locked up for that. Okay. Alright guys, thank you for sticking with it. Go and do some research, yeah? Go and do the research. If you got any questions about, what I've kind of done here, go and Do some research. Go and do your research. And like I say, I haven't even touched on the esoteric side of things. Esoteric side of things. If you want to go and look at our YouTube video on the Witch's Bazaar, you can. Subscribe. Click the little doodah button if you want. So this is me signing off. Nearly 2 hours long. But yeah. It's quite a nice day today. Sunny. A little bit of blue sky with some clouds. It might rain later. So go out for a walk. Take your dog out. If you got a dog, he'll appreciate it, or she. You know. Please do not feed the fear. Please turn off the BBC News channel and Sky, all those mainstream media, because they're really not doing you any favours. All they do is perpetrate the fear. Yeah. Be fearless. Stay witchy if you're a witch. And please do not feed the fears. Thank you.